Hi, welcome to Analytics for All. Welcome to the lesson 9 of the Python for Data Science course. In this lesson, we'll be covering conditional logic, or you might have heard it called if-then statements. As with all my lessons, I have a write-up here on my website, analyticsforall.org. I'll have a link down in the description here. I do want to put in a proviso that in my first lesson I showed you how to install the Anaconda distribution, which is what I'm using here, and I do recommend you do that on your system. But if you're working on your phone or a tablet or you got a work computer you can install, I did add little features down here you can look for. Look for the blue arrow, and that'll take you to a Python testing shell, which you can actually run most of this code right here in your browser. As we get deeper into the system, we start getting into machine learning. I don't think this is going to work too well. I don't think it'll install all the libraries we need, but for now, this will work for you. But I still recommend go ahead and keep downloading Anaconda if you can. So let's jump over to the notebook. We'll zoom in for you here. And we're going to start very simple. The syntax, actually, you know what? Let's go back here real fast. I do want to go over this for you. If you didn't review the earlier course, all of this works on Boolean comparisons. That's what we're doing. The whole point is we're trying to compare events, whether they happen. And the Boolean comparisons used in Python are two equal signs is equal. One equal sign is setting a variable. So if you try to say, is this equal to with only one equal, you're going to get an error. So you have to have two equal signs. The bang equal is not equal. The greater than, less than face each other is not equal. Greater than, less than, greater than, equal, equal. I've got this all on my website. You can check it out. But the whole idea is that this returns either a true or false. That's what is going on here. So if I say 1 is equal to 1, it returns true. If I say 1 is equal to 2, it returns false. Okay? And we do this using the if statement. And this is where an interesting thing happens with Python. You notice we don't have a then, and I don't have any kind of brackets or nothing wrapped around this. What happens, we have what's called whitespace. So as I say if my statement, and then I go down next, you'll notice my enter goes directly to the next because it knows I should be indented because I got the colon. So if you have any IDE should bring you there. If you're not, if you're using a text editor, you may have to change it. See, if I bring this out, if I get this out of the indent, you're going to get an error. It's expecting an indented block. And this will get deeper as we go into the nested, and I'll show you farther. But let's just start very simply. So the syntax is really simple. It's if your conditional statement, colon, and then what you want to happen. Notice we don't use the word then, just we have what you want to happen. So in this one, I've got if 1 equals 1, I want you to print 1. If 1 equals 2, print 2. So let's see what happens. It printed 1 because 1 does not equal 2. The rule of thumb says if the statement's true, I want you to do what happens below. If the statement's false, do not do what happens below. As you can see, we can actually use true and false here. If true, print true. If false, print false. And it prints true. And right here, you can look and see if we can do it beyond just with numbers. Here we got if cat equals cat, print cat. If dog equals cat, print dog. Only cat prints. However, if I go if dog does not equal cat, then print dog. So I got the bang sign there. Now I'm saying if not, that does not. All right. So what happens if we want it to respond to a false? We want something to happen when we hit false. So let's try this. We've got two variables, x equals 4, y equals 6, and I say if x is less than y, I want you to print x is less than y. And then I'm going to bring this other statement, and you notice it's not indented. This is brought out, and that is else. And I said if not, so if this statement is false, I want you to print x is not less than y. So let's try this, and it came up x is less than y because 4 is less than 6. But if I go down here and I do my 14, I change 4 to 14, then see what happens here. Now we have x is not less than y. So what happened is it says x is less than y. It says false. So it skips this, goes to the else, and does what it says below the else. So now let's move up a little bit. Now we're going to move into what's called a nested. So this is nested, like a nest, like a bird's nest. Okay. So what's happening here? This start, I'm just assigning a variable saying age is 14. And here in my statement, I say if age is greater than or equal to 18, I want you to print adult. If not, we're going to go to the else statement. So if false, under the else, instead of just saying a print, I'm going to put in another if statement. I say now, notice my if statement now starts indented because it's inside this else statement. So you see how the indentation works here. Bang, bang. We start to indent in. It makes it really easy to read. It's I think this is easier to read than trying to look through all the brackets and stuff when you're using like Java and everything. All right, so if age is greater than or less than 13, I want you to print teenager, else print child. So if we run this, we have age 14. It should say no, false here, then goes down to here and says true on the first one. Teenager, there you go. Let's change the ages a little bit, see what happens. Move it to 19, adult, and we'll move it down to 12, and it'll say child. Okay, now this is a nested statement. A little more elegant is using the elif function. Okay, same concept. We have grade equals 77, and I'm going to say if your grade is greater than or equal to 90, I want you to print A. Elif, notice this stays, it does not go out, it does not indent out. We keep on the front line here. Grade is greater than or equal to 80, print B. 70, print C. 60, print D. Else, print F. Okay, there you go. Came out as C. And obviously we can play around with the number here. We'll make it 97, see what happens. Make it 61. And if you want to follow the logic here, we're going to say, is it greater than equal to 90? No, false. Next step, is it greater than equal to 80? No, so it skips print B. 70, no, so it skips that. Print 60, D. Notice it stops when it finds one. So it doesn't print D and then F. It just stops. If it prints A, that's it. It doesn't continue down the line. So these LFs, there's like a break in between out of the conditional logic. Okay. Now this was a quick introduction to the conditional logic. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this because trust me, artificial intelligence is based on a series of if-then statements. We'll be using a lot of conditional logic. In fact, in the next episode, we're going to be doing loops, and we'll be using it there too. If you like this, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button. Go ahead, write a note down below. Let me know what you want me to do next, anything else you want me to cover, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much.